Hello everyone. Sorry to keep you a few minutes there. I got distracted with a game I was playing. There we go. Let's get something loaded up. If we can find that image, where to put that? I wanted to work on this upside downy one. Jenna Bean, I have a ton of questions, but I forgot them. I get that way myself sometimes. Okay, let's firstly turn that the right way around. I was sitting there about 9 o'clock. I said to myself, I forgot something. I'm like, oh dear, I said I was going to stream on Saturday. I actually forgot what day of the week it was, believe it or not. It just started, Hunter. Only been going about a minute. Just like I've been doing, just kind of cleaning up some pictures and chatting as I go. Hi, Pandorama. Well, before I came in here, I was playing Arizona Sunshine. I'm pretty much done with the game, apart from the DLC, which I'm probably not going to bother with because I don't like the storyline. But I thought I'll have one quick play around in one of the horde modes before I uninstall the game, because there's no point keeping it on my system now that I'm done with it. Well, fix the colorization here by just going to black and white. There we are. Fixes that. I was a bit squinty there. Hi, Dark Wolf. Do you play any Fallout games, Mr. Freezer? No, I've never actually played the Fallout games. Hang on a minute. I apologise to any headphone users. I'm going to move my mic slightly. Sorry. Okay, thought it was a little bit too far away there. No, Fallout's never something I've gotten into. Although I think I'm kind of really into virtual reality right now. And I think there was a version released, although I don't know if it's any good. Hi, Mara. Well, I've thought of playing games while I'm talking, but I don't want to do it on YouTube because the copyright issues. I don't want to risk the channel. I do have a Twitch page, which I've figured out how to get up and working now. So I'm not sure if it would be okay to put the announcement up on YouTube that I'm streaming on Twitch. A lot of people do that, and it doesn't seem to cause some problems. I'll have to think about it. Element, what time is it where I'm? It's 10 minutes past 10 at night. Starting a bit later tonight than usual. Do you have a favourite food? Jenny Bean asks. My favourite food has got to be curry sauce with almost anything. But I couldn't eat it forever because my taste buds would love it, but the rest of me wouldn't. Everything in moderation. That's something I'm trying to put into practice. It's good advice, but willpower. Morgan Brolio, I love the clever funny name for your streams. I'm running out. I'm going to have to think of some. You can never go wrong with some good comfort food. Well, comfort food is all well and good, but too much of it, and it goes to places you don't want it to go to. I had 2 weeks of indulging myself there. I indulged myself during my week off, and because it was so stressful preparing for all those videos during the week off, I don't want that. I also had to make sure I had treats then while I was making all the videos. So that's basically 2 weeks of eating very unhealthily. So I'm trying to nip that in the bud. Just gradually cutting back again. Hector Ramsey, where are you from, Hellfreezer? I am from and I'm currently in Scotland. Element, what's this one called? This one's called Stream a Little Stream. Actually had 2 Scotch eggs earlier. If you haven't had any Blue Rooster, I encourage you to keep looking. Whenever I see those message retracted, I think, did you say something rude? Hi, Music McCall. Music McCall. Probably more like that. Temperature over here, I'm not sure what the actual temperature is, but it is getting a bit chillier. I currently have 2 duvets. I'm plopped in the living room, and it's hot enough that I can actually be drinking hot tea again. Do you ever get stories that annoy you? Asks Semi K. Sometimes. There's a thing where I'll come across good stories, and I apologise for those who have delicate ears in advance. There's like 5 fucks in a paragraph when 2 would do. So that kind of bothers me a little bit, because cursing is a really effective tool, but it should be used sparingly. So sometimes I'll take them out, or if the author said to me, feel free to clean up the grammar or whatever, then I'll go, absolutely no problem, and so I'll take some of the cursing out, but not all of it, because as I say, it is effective. Mara, if you're talking about, it's probably a typo that I erased. No, you were saying naughty things, Mara, weren't you? Hmm. Ellen, what's your favourite series of stories to do? My favourite are all the funnier ones. I don't have a specific one, but just the spinning plates, the hotel, the retail, all those sorts of ones. Those are my favourites to do. And interestingly, looking at the numbers on the channel, a lot of people agree because yesterday's views on the paranormal video were nowhere near what they used to be. And the true scary videos, they're not getting the views they used to either. In fact, they're getting a bit less than half in some cases. But the other ones, especially the neckbeard videos, they're actually doing quite well. Have you considered reading any SCP stories? Aren't they all made up though? The SCP stories. I mean, I do fiction, but I tend to go mostly for like older public domain stuff. I currently have no plans to do any more collabs. Well, it sounds like the SCP stories are really just a form of creepypasta. Just make sure I'm not missing anything in the comments. Hearing you, MBK, hearing you read the retail stories is my favourite. It's almost like therapy for me. It's been over 2 years since I left retail, and I'm still in recovery. I'm a casino dealer, croupier. I have plenty of stories. Well, send them on then. Bye, Mara. Have a good shift. Oh, I'm pleasantly surprised by how many people I got tonight. Note to self: make sure you schedule your streams. Yeah, I mean, I worked in a convenience store. I could probably say the name of it, but it doesn't really matter. So I'd imagine it would have been even more of a nightmare if I was working in a supermarket, because that'd be even more hectic. Hunter, what about Jack versus the Empire stories? Well, because I have more free time now, I'm not currently working on that novel that I mentioned to you guys. I'm able to then do things that I've been letting slide. So there will be more Jack. There will be more Dracula. I don't know if I'm recording anything like that tomorrow, but we'll see how my voice is, what the time is. Usually I like to, between Thursday and Friday, I'll spend part of Thursday and all of Friday working, and I'll get the Saturday, Sunday, and Monday videos done. So my next work day is Monday. But sometimes I'll record the bonus stuff on Sunday. So we'll see what mood I'm in. I might get something done. Yeah, see, a lot of the time working in places, especially when you're working with the public, it really depends on who's around you. The place I worked in, I had some okay managers. I had some good managers. I I had one really good manager, and I had one that was pretty much the reason I left, because the way he allowed the place to be ran. Although even he, I've learned recently, is although I knew he was leaving. I wasn't sure if he had actually left, but he's actually left the company now. And the other person that worked there that was causing a lot of troubles, has left also, because as I understand it, the new manager they hired didn't put up with any nonsense. Hi, Biddy Biddy. Ellen, what are your favourite stories? It's the funnier stories. I enjoy doing them more. Gives me more of a chance to perform. I've got a repressed actor inside me. Hi, Joanne. Also in the UK. Yeah, the problem is if you've got a boss that doesn't have your back, then you just don't care. I mean, you'll keep going because you have to. You need the money, but it really does have a massive effect on the morale of employees. Do you like dogs or cats better? I've never actually owned. Well, I've never owned a dog or a cat, but my sister did have a dog, I guess sometimes while growing up, and she's had a couple since, and they're both fine. I've just never had a lot of interactions with cats. Just the ones that try to sneak into my house if I leave the door open when the weather's hot. Those I usually just chase away. Hunter, I'm the boss at my work. Yes, but Hunter, I'm sure you're a good boss. Anna Brelo, have you ever inserted your own personal crazy stories into one of your videos? I do on the outros. When I'm recording the outros, I'll be reading the story and it might spark a memory of something that happened in the past, and I'll talk about it in the outro as just a little bonus. Hi, Silkcock. Hi, Sean. How are you? Pretty mellow, actually. Hi, Todd Jones. I thought that said Tom Jones for a minute there. Don't worry, I won't start singing. Not yet. We'll see how the evening goes. Instead of serving kiddos at my old job, I'm serving grouchy old people. See, the place I worked in, I had both. I mean, I mentioned the old lady that yelled at me because she didn't like the way I shook a bag. Then there was this kid that used to come in all the time. Never had enough money. And initially, because it's a kid, you go, right, how much are you short? Right, 10, 20 pence. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Don't worry about it. You just take your stuff and go, that's fine. But when he started doing it every single time, you eventually realised he was playing on it. So I just stopped doing it altogether. Ellen, do you drink anything besides tea, dear? I yes. Wait, no, that's also tea. I was going to say I drink iced tea, but I'll drink Earl Grey. That's also tea. Well, there was this. No, that's apple and pear tea. Oh dear. That's a very impolite question to ask a British person. Seriously though, I do drink other things. I drink. Occasionally, I'll have coffee in the winter. I do like iced coffee, which I'll have whenever really. Favorite cola is Pepsi Max, but it's not great for my skin. So I was drinking Coke Life, which was marginally better, but I can't get that anymore. So I did switch to one called Green Cola. That's actually just the name of it. And so I'll get a case of that every once in a while from Amazon. But it's like 15 quid a case, so every once in a while, because it can be quite expensive. And I'm in the habit now because I got myself a really amazing blender a few weeks back, which I'm kind of in love with. I would marry if it was possible. And I've been using that to make green smoothies, because green smoothies seem to actually be helping my overall health. What about cocoa with marshmallows? Never really got into cocoa that much. I do like. There's a hot chocolate you can buy. It's called Wispa Gold Chocolate. Wispa is a chocolate bar made by Cadbury, and they do a gold version, which is just a regular Wispa, except it's got a layer of caramel on top, which is super yummy. And the Wispa Gold is this kind of frothy caramel flavored hot chocolate, and I haven't had it for a while. But as we're getting into the colder weather, that might be a good time to start drinking it again. MK, what's in the green smoothie? It depends. I'll throw a banana in there, a fresh banana. But I've started getting like bags of pre-prepared and frozen fruit. So the banana, then some apple, then it'll depend. Sometimes I'll squeeze some lemon juice in there. Sometimes to give it a little bit more sweetness, I'll put some chunks of mango. Most of the fruit's frozen, but there's certain things I do use fresh. Mango, pear, whatever, and a little thing of honey. And the green part it's either kale, spinach, or what they just call greens. I don't know if there's a more specific name for it, but it's basically like leafy greens which are sliced up. And for those, I also sometimes put either a little sprinkle of ginger, which is nice, or just a little bit of sprinkle of cinnamon. Really, with a green smoothie, you can put any kind of like vegetable in it as long as it's green, and it's a good idea, from what I'm led to believe, to don't use the same thing all the time. Alternate between different things. So I try to have 2 or 3 different types. Yeah, I think that wallpaper. I've got a colour picture somewhere of that wallpaper, so I wonder if maybe once I get it prepped, we might try doing a little bit of colorization on it, because it's mostly blacks and whites in the image, but there'll be colour in the background. Todd Jones, have you ever thought about reading werewolf stories? I think I've done a couple. I've never done a full video of werewolf stories, though. Hello, Hellfreezer. I work at a state facility for mentally and physically handicapped and a lot of psych issues. You deserve a lot of praise for that job, Julie. It's not something I think I'd have the patience and temperament to do. So I have a great admiration for people like yourself who do it. I actually had an uncle who did that a while ago. Not anymore, he's retired now. But he used to work with patients like that. I think he was as an orderly, I assume. Ellen, what's growing in the garden? Nothing. It's nearly October. I don't really grow anything in the garden anyway. I should. You ever think you'd hit the sub count you do now? Well, I'm just kind of grateful for every person that chooses to subscribe, to be honest with you. I'm always happy to see it go up, and I just hope it doesn't go too low. Fingers crossed within the next week or two I might get to 50,000. Hi Shane, thanks for stopping in. So I'm not sure. Let's see if I can find the colour one. Was it on this? No, it wasn't on that. I think it might have been. It might have actually been on the same image. We'll kind of need that for a reference anyway. Yeah, it looks like it was black. and that'll help me get the colour of the flowers that when I start to do a colorization on it later. But before we get there, I need to finish cleaning up. Sweet potatoes growing my flower beds. I'm not sure if I've tried sweet potatoes. I did buy a bag of sweet potato fries, but I haven't been brave enough to try them yet. Todd Jones, appreciate your love of the paranormal stories. They're down a little of late, but I'm not going to stop doing them because a lot of people are still watching them. Okay, scrolling back to make sure I don't miss anything. Do you like racing games? Jenny Bean asks. No, I'm not really a fan of racing. I did buy one a while ago to try it with my Vive. It was fine. Not really something I'm into though. Probably be more enjoyable with the steering wheel and everything, but that's a bit much for me. Joanne Amy Holland, what's your favourite film? Kind of. I don't really do a lot of favourites. I can tell you what my current favourite is. It might not be the same the next time you ask me, but my favourite film is a British film starring Stephen Fry, Kenneth Branagh, Emma Thompson, Tony Slattery, also other people, called Peter's Friends. It's kind of like a very, very British version of The Big Chill. Jenny Bean, are you dressing up for Halloween? No. None of that for me. Brandy Smith, what's your favourite flowers? I don't really have favourite flowers. It's not something I have around a lot. Oh yes, a Halloween special like last year. Did I do a Halloween special last year? I think it was the year before, wasn't it? I was getting a bit sick last year, so I don't think I did a special. But what I'm planning... Well, I'll talk about it in Monday's video, but I'll tell you guys now. I'm planning on doing like 10 days and just a different kind of scary story on each day. But we're going from classic literature, so it'll be some H.P. Lovecraft, some Edgar Allan Poe, and whatever else I can rustle up. Hang on, I'm falling a little behind the comments. Keep up, Hellfreezer, there's a good chap. Hello, Oscar R. Ellen, are you a sports fan? I'm not really into sports. Okay, I'm going to take my headphones off because I've got them. I do that every time. I leave them on, just kind of burn away battery power, but I'm not actually listening to anything. Okay, Hunter, have fun with the game. Now, Ellen, do you have siblings? I have an older sister. Venken's Art. Have you ever tried the Star Trek MMORPG game on Steam? Do you mean Star Trek Online? I do have an account on there. I can't remember when I played it last. Might have been earlier this year. Can't remember. But I played it for a bit, then I got bored again, and I logged out. Unless you're talking about Star Trek Bridge Crew, which I've tried a little bit, but it's kind of boring. Blue Rooster, what would you recommend to an American visiting Scotland? Say you're Canadian. Hi, Jacob. Or Jacob. I just saw the K. It seems like it should be Jacob. Hi, Jan D. Looking great with those sunglasses. How old are you? I'm now 37. That's a different answer than I gave during the last stream. So I'm now 37. And had quite a mellow birthday, actually. Yes, thank you. Sonia, have you watched Dog Soldiers? That's a werewolf film, isn't it? No, it's not one I've ever gotten around to. I'm not really a massive fan of kind of war films. I don't hate them, it's just something I've really got to be in the mood for before I watch. Ellen, do you like Stephen King's work? I like a lot of his ideas. I've got a couple of the audio versions of his books. I've also actually... I have. I've got a copy of Pet Sematary, the physical book, and also bought the audiobook read by Michael C. Hall from 6 Feet Under and Dexter. And do I have it? I can't remember. I've got a couple. I've not gotten round to them, but so far I'm enjoying them. What little I've actually partaken of. Blue Rooster took me a second, but I don't think I could pull off Canadian. I'm a black man from the south. Well, the south thing might make it difficult for you. Basically, just be nice. Don't try to do our accent. We hate that. Unless you can do it really well. Oh, and if in doubt, just buy people a round of drinks. Mickey, I'm an American from the West Coast. What do you think of my accent? I generally love all accents because they're kind of fun to do. Bye, Todd Jones. See you later. Okay, I've been so busy looking at the chat, I kind of forgot to actually do anything more with this picture. Hi, Deborah Young. Okay, I did bring in a drink, so I'm gonna open that up. Yes, it is tea. Not hot tea, though. Do my obsessively wiping the cap off thing. Hi, Mrs. Bones. Element, is it hard for you to talk without an accent? Everybody has an accent, mate. Soki Hawk, are you good at accents? Some accents I can do better than others. I'm not too bad at some American accents, although I do tend to ham them up a little bit depending on the story. Talk like an American. Is that what you mean? Is it hard for me to talk? No, it's actually disturbingly easy for me to slip into an American accent. I'll resist the urge to do it right now. I think a lot of that, for me, comes from the fact that most of the television shows I watched and enjoyed growing up, and the films as well, all had American actors in them, or people pretending to be American. Miss Rin, thank you very much. I appreciate you spreading the good word. Hi, Hey. Thank you, Laura. Let's get the levels sorted on this. It's a little bit pale looking. Levels. I should not bad. I don't want to overdo it. The Dark Miles, do you have any regrets about your porn career? How did you hear about that? Also, no. I think I missed a question there, did I? Oh, Music McCall, yeah. Asked a little while ago, what games do you like? Anything with Batman or Sherlock Holmes in it. And I also quite enjoy, I quite enjoy the Telltale games, but there won't be any of those coming out because it looks like they're shutting down. So I was looking forward to The Wolf Among Us 2, which they had announced. But yes, this laying off of most of their employees was unexpected and horrifying news. Well, they're not closed yet. I think they're down to. I might get this wrong. They're down to about 25 employees. I would look up an article, but I don't want to get my ass sued. That would probably come under fair use because we're discussing the news, but whatever. And I don't think they're keeping the company going, but I think the idea is they'll finish up whatever projects have to be finished up. I think is the last Walking Dead game that's still to be finished, isn't it? And then they'll shut down. I wonder what's going to happen to all the IP they currently have. Hi, Kerry. Thank you for your obsession. Much appreciated. Oop. Apologise for any unintended burping there. I really must get a cough button on this thing. Do you ever just feel depressed and not doing anything, Alfreezer? I haven't felt really depressed for a very long time. I'm in a much better place in my life now than I was during my worst bouts of depression. Hello, the Lord of Memes. Right, straighten this up a little bit. Element, what movies, TV shows did you like growing up as a kid? Well, if you're talking about cartoons, I remember I used to like one called Penny Crayon. It was about a girl called Penny who, shockingly, had a crayon, but it was magical and anything she drew came to life. And then there was also Fantastic Max, and he was a baby, and you'll notice the recurring theme here. He could build these things, and his toys would come to life, and they'd all go on adventures. And of course, all the usual stuff like the real Ghostbusters, the Turtles, all that sort of thing. That's what I was into. But if you're talking about real TV shows, as I got a little older, I was really into, and still am a little bit, to be honest with you, into like Highlander or Forever Knight, which is basically just Highlander with fangs, to be perfectly honest with you. And there was loads of other things as well. Kerry, who's going to lose their jobs? About 250. Someone correct me if I'm getting the numbers wrong. But 250 people working for Telltale, the games company, were all let go. And it looks like the company is going to shut down. It is, and it came as quite. Well, from what I'm understanding, the issue with Telltale was they weren't making a lot of money. Uh, and you'd think they would. I mean, they had Batman, The Walking Dead. I mentioned The Wolf Among Us. They had Game of Thrones licensed, but apparently the sales of the games just weren't high enough. Uh, Seemingly, there was maybe a lot of people like myself who just kind of waited till they went on sale, so I don't think they'd be making a lot of those. And there might be people who looked at them and thought, that looks interesting, that game. I should play that one day, then never actually get around to buying it. And was someone taking money? I'm not really sure. I don't think that was the issue. I just think they weren't doing as well as they should have been. I just hope all the people that have been let go, some very talented people, are able to find work with other companies and they can make wonderful games for other people who might pay them what they deserve. Yeah, I mean, I do that too. I mean, I'm not made of money, so I'll tend to put a game on my wish list and wait till it comes down a bit. I mean, I think... I don't know, what have I got in here? Yeah, I bought the first Batman Telltale game. Haven't actually even installed or played it yet, but I got that when it was about £4 or something. And yeah, Game of Thrones, same with that. Wolf Among Us, which I hasn't installed right now, but I have played through that, and I did play through the first Walking Dead, and I might have the second one. Yeah, season 2 I've got that, I just haven't played it yet. Yep. Okay, it's coffee day every day in Seattle. You never have to go very far. We've only really got one coffee place in my town, and it's not close enough to be convenient for me. It's in like the town centre, so it's a Costa. Well, the thing about the Telltale games is a lot of the decisions you were making were kind of false decisions. It gave you the illusion that you had a say in what was happening, but really it was just giving the impression. Like, ooh, I'm trying to think. Can I talk about the conclusion? Would it spoil anything major if I spoke about the conclusion to The Walking Dead Season 1? The game, not the show, the game. I have to remember things are a few seconds behind. Apparently, Emmy Kay was selling drugs out of her garage when she was 9. Wow. That's a bit young. Were you making your own drugs? Because that's actually quite impressive at 9. Special K. Okay, well, anyway, without getting too specific, the ending of that game could not be avoided. No matter what you did. And that's actually kind of what put me off playing Season 2. That's why I haven't installed it yet. Mr. Hellfreezer, what's your favourite tea to drink? If it's iced tea, it's Arizona lemon iced tea. If it's like tea, it's Earl Grey. Twinings Earl Grey. With just a tea bag and hot water. I don't like anything in it. It is. I mean, it's quite fragrant, so it's not to everybody's taste, but I'm quite fond of it. Right, I think we will be moving on to a quick Control J. Do a little bit of noise reduction, and then we'll see about maybe doing a bit of colorizing. Filters, filters, filters. There we go. Noise, dust and scratches. Okay. Barely did anything, but it looks like it helps some of the darks. Have I tried chai tea? I think I've tried chai tea. Can't remember. I'm trying to think. The only one I've tried that I definitely remember not liking was chamomile. It's meant to calm you down. Honestly, it just made me tense. And I'm not joking, it actually made me tense. I quite like red bush tea. That's really good because there's like zero caffeine in that. In fact, I think I've got a little tub in there. I'll have to check the date on it. I got it a while ago. Blue Rooster, have you played any Far Cry? I haven't. Far Cry. I don't think that's available on PC, is it? No, I'm not a console user, so. Do many people in Scotland have freckles? Some people do, some people don't. I don't think it'd be a higher concentration than most places. No. Chamomile makes my tummy hurt. I'm sorry to hear that, Kerry. Okay. Raspberry iced tea, I don't think I've tried that one. I've currently got pomegranate green tea. That's Arizona iced tea. Dark Wolf, did you vote Remain or Leave or Remain for Brexit? That's a little bit personal, but I voted to remain. Okay, bye, Julie. Thanks for stopping in. Music McCall. What do you mean? Heaven Burner? Historical landmarks. Have I? Well, I've visited Edinburgh Castle. I think that's the only one I've really been to. You see, the thing is, if you live in a place, even if it's got all those kind of landmarks and things, you end up just not visiting all the places that the tourists would go to. You're saying someone has made an opposite account? I think someone might have. Not as far as I know. I mean, I've certainly had copycat hell freezers, the swines. But as far as I know, nobody's copied the account. Right. Still, it always makes me think of Spinal Tap, the movie. I have a confession. I've never seen the film all the way through. Nolan, how did you come up with your avatar? I was just messing about in Photoshop one day. Typed in the name Hellfreezer, played about with some of the distortion tools on the text. Was that one of them? And then I just did some circles and things till it made a little face, and I quite liked it. Then, years later, someone told me I looked like boobs, so I've been trying to think of something better to do ever since. And by trying, I mean occasionally I think about it and I think, that's kind of associated with me. It's been there for so long, I may as well keep it. I'm deciding whether or not it'd be worth trying to colorize this, because doing that wallpaper would be really, really annoying. Did you say boots or boobs? Boobs. Have I done all of these? Did that one, did that one. You know, I think I might do a colorization of that one. Right, so I'm gonna save that. Okay, Confer, do you have a favourite YouTube stream that you enjoy watching? My favourites are Count Jacula. He tends to do really long streams, which are mostly... Lately he's been doing a lot of gaming, but the ones I prefer is when he's just sitting down chatting to people. They can be quite interesting. Although he's been having trouble with the YouTube for some reason. I mean, he's still uploading to YouTube. I think it's just he's been having trouble with the live stream for some reason. So he's been over on Twitch for a little while, but I'm sure he'll be back eventually. Hopefully he'll be back eventually. If you could go back to any decade, from 1900 to 2000, spend a week there, where would you go? Probably go to 1960. Not sure specifically when. And just hang out with some hippies. Probably a good time. Although I don't drink, so they probably think that was weird. Probably think I was a narc or something. Okay, I'm good, almost identical to my dad. I don't think my dad had another family, but he was a quiet man. Okay, whoever's tooting their horn, please shut up. I'm trying to live stream. '80s was best. Well, see, the thing is, I lived through the '80s. I was born in 1981, so I remember the '80s. Did the '90s, did the noughties, and obviously we're nearing the end of the 2010s. So anything before the '80s, really. I think the '60s. I think they had better fashion, better music then. I don't much care for the fashion sense in the '70s. Although, well, let me think. No, not really a fan of the fashion sense of the '70s. have Twitch. I'll check his stream out. Yeah, just so you know before you go over, he's a Satanist, and there will be frequently boobs jumping up on the screen. Just so you know. Okay, I'm good. My family is Scottish, though my grandmother came over here through Ellis as a baby. Well, there may be a connection. I know that my family, or rather, I know there are people in America with the same last name as me. Jose Cuevas, hi Jose. You never know, we could be related. Do you have a targeted demographic? Not specifically. I tend to skew a little bit more women than men. I'm not sure of the age group, but I've got fans that kind of go all over. And again, most of my subscribers are from the US, but I also have people, just little samplings from all over the world. Nope, that's the rain on. Okay, I'm just gonna have to resize that manually because I'm holding you all in my hand so that the chat doesn't keep slipping. Icon for eyes older than dirt. I somehow doubt that, Kerry. A family in Dundee with the last name Mackay, I think. Hello, Bad Alpha, welcome. Where'd I put that can? I'm thirsty again. Nope. Oh, there we are. Medusa and I were college dorm mates. Do you have theme parks where you live? We don't have like a Disneyland. There is a place in England called Alton Towers. Wait, is that England or is that Scotland? I think my niece went there last week. But no, we don't have anything quite like Disneyland or Disney World or whatchamacallit. Nah, yeah. Stoke-on-Trent. That's where Alton Towers is. I went outside the lines there. Hi, Tasia. Element, do you speak any other languages? No, just English. And a very teeny tiny smattering of Spanish that I picked up in high school. Not Scary Farm is having a contest going on. Spend 30 hours living in a coffin. That's disturbing. I mean, did they seal you in? With like stacks and a jar to pee in? You get random body breaks. Adrian Fields. Thank you kindly, Adrian. I'm trying to remember what colour that jacket was. I think it was brown. Kind of a light brown. The prize is $300 cash, and you get to keep the coffin. I don't think it'd be worth it, unless you really needed the $300 or the coffin. Where would you keep a coffin? In the living room? Use it as a coffee table or a coffin table. Put it in the garden. Bury it feet first, let the neighbours talk. Element, do you have a favourite serial killer? That's. Uh, uh, um, I do occasionally. I did actually the other week go on tangents where I'll watch documentaries on serial killers. I wouldn't really say I've got a favourite. They're not really the kind of people that word, at least for me, applies to. I mean, I watched one the other day about a guy who was he was assaulting men, and when he got arrested and went to jail for it, rather than, because he was very traumatized by going to jail, rather than thinking, well, I don't want to go through that again, so maybe I should stop assaulting people. No, his solution was to start murdering the people he assaulted. Certainly is an interesting subject. Can't remember the guy's name, but he killed a lot of people before they caught him. And this was actually going on, I think, this was actually going on around about the time Katrina hit. So that made it more difficult to catch him, because a lot of the emergency services' attention were obviously on other things. Do you ever watch other creepy stories channels? No, I don't. Partly because I don't want to know what other people are doing, so it doesn't have an influence on what I'm doing, and also partly because I spend so much time doing my own. It's I'm just not interested in it by the time I have free time. I used to love that sort of thing, though. I suppose you could convert the coffin into a fridge. Yeah, I can't remember the guy's name, but he was a very bad man. Let's see if I can look up his name. I don't really know if I should be saying his name. I should probably type "I am not a serial killer" into Google before I go searching for these. Hang on, let me check some. Oh man, what's your favourite horror movie killer? Jason Voorhees. Love a bit of Jason. If we can find that creeper. Hurricane Katrina serial killer. I'm hoping there wasn't more than one. Should be on here. I would put this article up on screen, but I'm not sure I'm allowed to. I don't think I've ever actually sat through any of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre films. Just something about Leatherface that I find very skeevy. Not like Jason, he wears a nice, neat hockey mask and a green shirt and trousers. Sometimes he's got his tools on a belt. It's very organised. Phantom of Darkness, who's your favourite YouTuber? I won't be nasty, and I'll just not answer that. Sonia Lamont, why are we talking about coffins? There's a not scary farm thing where there's a competition to see who can sit in a coffin the longest, or lie in a coffin. You don't sit in coffins. Michael Myers. I'm actually looking forward to the new Halloween film. I kind of like the idea that you've got this geriatric this 60-year-old serial killer running around trying to do a bit of serial killing. Okay, try that again. New. Oh, I found him. Ronald Dominic. That was the guy I was thinking of. Bio Blue Area. I won't attempt to pronounce that. Huma, from Louisiana. Hang on, was Phantom of Darkness causing trouble while I was gone? I'll kick him out if you guys want. Although you've got to wonder about that Not Scary Farm thing. How much is the coffin worth? Because these things can be very expensive. Go away. There we are. Yeah, I think the new Halloween movie. I think he's been locked up for the past few decades, and Laurie Strode, who I think this is basically just a sequel to the first film. So she's Laurie Strode. She's not his long lost sister, as I understand it. Just going from what I've seen from the trailer, and he breaks out to come after her because she's the one that got away. So I'm actually quite intrigued by that one. But what I really want is another Friday the 13th film. Oh, welcome back, Mara. No, she's not his sister in this film. They've kind of retconned the retcon. There's probably a word for that. I loved Uber Jason in Friday the 13th 10. I really liked that. I thought it was... I mean, I like regular Jason. as long as it doesn't have long hair. I don't like the straggly long hair bit. Sometimes he has, but I really like the redesign where the nanites rebuilds him. Well, they did. Let me think. After H2O, yeah, after H2O there was two Rob Zombie films, but this one is essentially another reboot because it's basically just it goes the first Halloween film, ignore everything else that came after them. Well, 3 wasn't really a sequel anyway. 4, 5, yada yada. So this is just a follow up to that. Freddy vs. Jason. I can't remember if I enjoyed Freddy vs. Jason. I remember. I don't think I liked the guy that played Jason in it, which sounds like a kind of a harsh judgment to make when he's not really doing a lot of acting, doesn't have dialogue, but you can always tell there's a lot of performance that goes into that role. And Kane Hodder was great, but I also quite like Derek Mears, who played him in the reboot, which wasn't the best of films, but Derek Mears did a really good job. And I mentioned to you guys on the last stream, mentioned on the last stream about that fan film, Never Hike Alone. The guy that played Jason in that was actually really good as well. Whoa, whoa, whoa! What? Who's talking about cannibals? Well, you see, the thing is, serial killers are not the most balanced of people. So, especially if you're a cannibal serial killer, well, at least if you're an impulsive serial killer, I mean, there's different types, I suppose. But yeah, not like Hannibal Lecter. You're not going to be cutting people up nice and neat and storing them in your freezer, although some people have done that. But no, for a lot of these people, it's just this kind of weird impulsive fantasy. Ever tried Friday the 13th, the game? I don't know what's like, but I'm just curious. See, here's the thing. I really like the Friday the 13th films, but I've got this weird thing where I don't like to play games where you're doing bad things to people. And I wouldn't want to play as a camp counselor because that would be boring for me. So the only interesting role there is Jason, but you'd have to go around killing people, so I'd feel bad. I spend most of my time apologising to people over chat. Sorry, oh, didn't mean to rip out your spleen. Hope you weren't using that. I remember a couple of years back, well, maybe more than a couple of years, 3 or 4 years now, I was playing DC Universe Online, and I played through the game, got to level 30, which is pretty much as high as you can go without, buying things to improve the game. And then I thought, okay, I've played through it as a hero, let's play through it as a villain. That might be fun. And I just felt so awful. You're doing the same things in the game, you're just doing them for villainous purposes. And I just felt very bad about it, and so I couldn't play it. Hostel, I watched a little bit of the second one, and I made it just like a few minutes into it. I mean, I do like horror films, but I think those films, it's gratuity for the sake of seeing how far they can push it. Which, if that's what you want, fair enough. It's just not what I enjoy. Let's try that one. That might be close, actually. Adrian Field, sorry I'm talking about cannibals after a serial killer thing. There's quite a bit of crossover there. Certain things when you're talking about serial killers, there's certain other equally nasty subjects that come up. A lot of them will eat their victims, a lot of them do very obscene sexual things to their victims. If you're Jeffrey Dahmer, you do a bit of both. There tends to be a connection between both acts anyway. Just creepy, do you think the world will end one day? Yeah, guarantee it. I mean, the sun, if the planet survives, the sun will eventually go nova. That's just an inevitability. Unless we're advanced enough scientifically then to figure out a solution. Although, I expect if the planet survives, if the human race survives, we will be long gone from this planet by then. We'll have colonized other worlds. Got a lot better at space travel. Did you see Cody Rhodes win NW World title? No, I'm not a wrestling fan. Nothing against the guy, I'm just not a wrestling fan. Do you like Neil deGrasse Tyson? I do actually like him, although there was a talk of his I was watching a while ago where he did something that really, really annoyed me. And I always hate it when people in positions of power do this. There was a student, young lady, gotten up to ask a question, and that takes a lot of courage because it can be quite intimidating, especially when it's someone you admire. And she was nervous, and she started her question. She was about to ask her question, and she started it with right, because she was nervous, kind of tripping over her words. Rather than shutting, and I apologize for the language, but shutting the fuck up and letting the girl ask her question, Neil deGrasse Tyson thought he'd be a wise ass and tear into her and make fun of her for starting the question with something he himself has actually done in the past. And that just really fucking annoyed me, it really did. Because in that moment, it seemed like he'd rather swing his grammatical dick in her face than just give her the chance to ask the question so he can share his knowledge. Doesn't matter how you get the question out, it's important that you ask. That's the brave thing, that's the important thing. So yeah, I do like Neil deGrasse Tyson, but I don't like that thing he did. What's your favourite actor who has an interesting personality edge that you like? Most of the actors I like tend to be like super nice people. Or there are occasionally people that start off seeming rather nice. Like, I won't name names, but certain leads of popular shows on the CW who get more and more arrogant every time their show gets renewed. No, I'm not really too into edgy people. Well, I like people who are confident, people who are sure of themselves that don't need to put other people down. I mean, like, take say Joe Rogan, for example. On the surface, he seems like he'd be a bit of a prick, but he's actually alright. Very, very curious. Doesn't usually disparage people. There are moments. It's not Supernatural, is it? No, those guys are actually really nice on Supernatural. Do you think we'll really go to Mars? I think we'll go to Mars. I think we'll colonize it. I think we'll terraform it so that it'll probably be very, well, Earth-like, I guess would be the word. What's this picture for? It's just for my own amusement. It's a picture of my dad when he was younger. Thought it might be nice if I added a little bit of colour to it after I cleaned it up. Yeah, I think most of the people on Supernatural tend to be pretty genuine people. Although, and I do like Misha Collins quite a bit, I think when he was at the last Comic Con, when he starts to pull out voter registration cards, I thought that was a dig move. It's like, dude, come on. People are there to get away from all the nonsense going on in the world. They'd like a day where they don't have to think about it, just a few hours. They come to your panel to hear you talk about the show. Just dial it down for a few hours, that's all we're asking. But otherwise, I like them. Just creep. Is your hair long? No, I tried growing my hair long. It wasn't happening. It just gets very sticky uppy. You into aliens or ancient civilization at all? I'm interested in ancient civilizations. Aliens, I hope aliens exist. It would be boring if we were all there was. Although, as we move out and colonize other worlds and so on, maybe we become the aliens, who knows? Spread out among the stars. But yeah. Last book I read was, or listened to, depending how you want to look at it, was Mythos by Stephen Fry, which covers Greek mythology. And you want to learn about a culture, take a look at their gods and how their gods are represented. He's also got another one coming out in November, which is a follow-up to that. This one's called Heroes, where I'm assuming it'll focus on people like Perseus and Heracles and the like. Yeah, so you're not religious? No, I'm an atheist. But I don't really talk about my religion, my beliefs much. Don't need to beat people over the head with them. Right. I have no idea what colour that door is meant to be. I mean, I take it these walls are the same colour, it's just a shadow by the door. Let's make it green. Oh, hi Sabrina, sorry I didn't see you come in. Was your dad in an awesome band? He was in a band called the Granny Skiffle Group. I've got old reel recordings of them upstairs somewhere. Which author is this? The book I mentioned? It's Stephen Fry. Have you ever been to Las Vegas? No, I've never been out of the United Kingdom. Have you tried singing? Not professionally. Do you like to gamble? Nope, I put on a lottery ticket once a week. That's as gambly as I get. Yeah, that might work. We'll try and see how it looks. In fact, like I say, I put on the lottery ticket every week. I keep forgetting to check them. I could be a millionaire and not even know it. Not very likely. Just creepy, are you a dog or a cat person? Neither really. I'm not really a pet person at all. Just creepy. What's your favourite ice cream flavour? Lately, I've really been enjoying the Haagen-Dazs salted caramel. That's absolutely lovely. But I just saw in the supermarket the other day. I won't buy it yet because I refuse to pay full price for it. is that Ben & Jerry's has got Minter Wonderland out again. So when that goes on sale, I'll get a tub or two and pop them in the freezer. Although I really do love their Oh My Apple Pie, or Happily Ever After. I think they renamed it. Haven't seen it for a while though. How could you not be a pet person? Simple. I don't want to have a tiny little life form that's depending on me to keep it safe and happy. My schedule would not be kind to a pet. Not sure if there'll be any colour on that wall. Let's make it a nice, like a lemon colour. See how it looks. Pick that one there. American Dream. I don't know if I've tried that one. Again, I've liked most of the Ben & Jerry's I've tried. The only one I didn't like was Cherry Garcia. I like cherries, I just didn't like Cherry Garcia ice cream. Bye, Hawk. Thanks for stopping in. Well, the thing about the Cherry Garcia is the same thing I like about other Ben & Jerry's ice creams, is the packet was so much stuff in it. It was just really too many cherries. Freezer, is one ready for Halloween yet? I don't really do anything for Halloween. In terms of, getting candy and whatnot in for the cheeky little kitty winks. I will be recording stuff for the channel to go up like the week, well, more than a week leading up to Halloween. But I haven't begun that yet. I'll start in October. Morayshire. I've never heard of it. What's your character dish? What do you love cooking? I like to cook. I like to bake. Haven't done it for ages though. I usually bake cakes, make tablet. For making actual real food, I usually do chicken white wine sauce, korma, something like that. And I don't really listen to a lot of music when I'm cooking. If I'm going to be away from the computer or my phone or whatever's playing for a while, I'll usually just pop the old wireless headphones on and put a podcast or an audiobook on while I'm thinking away. Which tends to be most of what I listen to anyway. I mean, I do listen to music, usually while I'm browsing around the internet. But I tend to listen to more podcasts and audiobooks than anything else. Well, that went over the lines a bit. Do you like mayonnaise on your No, I don't like mayonnaise. I like salad cream, which is like mayonnaise with flavour. I keep thinking I'm missing half the conversations here. Oh, okay, that makes sense. It's creepy. What do you usually do for Christmas? My Christmas consists of waking up a little bit later because it's Christmas. Usually cleared out the day so I don't have to work. Grabbing any presents that have to be handed out. Popping around to my sister's house for a little while, handing out said presents. Then coming home and just kind of slowly cooking dinner. And when it's ready, I'll sit down. And yes, I do prefer to be in my own house for Christmas, so I tend to just come home. Even though my sister does, and she probably will invite me this year as well. She invites me around to hers every year, but I never say yes. And I'll sit down and watch the latest episode of Doctor Who, which has been how I've done it for the past few years. I hope there's a Christmas special this year. I know we'll get a new series before that, but I hope they're doing a special. Desdale Trash, thank you kindly. It's very much appreciated. Element, do you like fish and chips? Indeed I do. Music McCall, goodbye if you're still here. If not, sorry I missed you. It sounds like you appreciate your alone time. I really do. Did you like Sherlock Holmes with Cumberbatch? I liked Cumberbatch as Sherlock Holmes. I liked Matt Freeman. Hang on. Martin Freeman. Where did I get Matt Freeman from? I liked Martin Freeman as Watson. In fact, the whole cast of that show was good. I didn't much enjoy the words they were given to regurgitate, though. I thought the story ideas and the writing was a bit shoddy in the show. I really didn't like their version of Moriarty. I like the actor. I've seen him in other things. He's been quite good, but I just didn't like that take. That's just a little bit hidden. That's subtle enough. Now, why do you call French fries chips? Because that's what they are. For us, French fries are a very specific thing. It's a type of chip. This is the really thin ones. Do you watch Mrs. Brown's Boys? Nope, it's never something I got into. I don't really think that needs much more colour, actually. I'm not even sure if those colours are accurate. Venikins, I think I've told all the funny stories from my old job. I think I've mentioned them all in previous videos and things. I don't actually know who Tommy Flanagan is. That's the other trash. Do you think you'll ever do a face reveal? Never say never, but no plans at all to do it at the moment. Favorite pizza? My favorite pizza is a barbecue base instead of tomato sauce. A barbecue base, stuffed crust with hot dog, or stuffed with cheese is acceptable, but preferably hot dog. And then on the pizza, we'll have cheese, obviously, and ham, Oh, well, not ham, rather bacon specifically. Bacon, chicken, and mushrooms. Police Children and Sons of Anarchy. I've never really got into Sons of Anarchy, although I stopped into my sister's house earlier, and by an odd coincidence, they were watching it there. Good night, Morgan. Have a good dinner. Louise M. Davies, you like Billy Connolly? Have you heard the one about his sister Flo? I don't think I've heard that one, but I do like Billy Connolly. My favourite bit of his is the crucifixion, which is essentially just a retelling of the story of the crucifixion, but as if everyone was Scottish and it took place in Scotland. Favourite movie? Peter's Friends. I'm not sure you can even get it anymore. I mean, it was hard to find a few years ago when I bought my DVD. Follower of M, are you having difficulties? Bye, just creepy. Have a nice night. Right, let's save a copy of that instead of just saving over the original. Peaky Blinders. No, I don't think I've actually seen Peaky Blinders. Bye, Element. Have a nice night. I just wanted to make a quick suggestion. I really enjoy your content, but I've noticed almost all of your stories are that's completely wrong. A lot of them are from a female perspective because, shockingly, more women get creeped on than men. A lot of the other stories are, they don't really identify what gender they are, so you might assume they're female, you might assume they're male. It's really up to the listener. But there are a reasonable number of male stories in there. What time is it where I am? It's just gone midnight. I'll be heading off in a few minutes. Walking home in the dark. Well, I hope you're okay, Cam. Sleep tight, Sonia. No, I've never had sushi. I don't think I've ever been brave enough to try it. Goodbye, Tasia. Chaotic, what is your favourite stories to narrate? I like the funnier ones more than anything else. And of course, if I'm trying something new I've never done before, that's always quite exciting. That one's a bit dull looking. I can do a bit of work on that. Well, actually, I try not to use ones that don't have immediate family members in them. Right, that's about 2 hours there. I think that's maybe a good time to wrap things up. Okay, so I'm going to head off for now. So until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourselves.